You wake up and something doesn't feel quite right. Not wrong exactly, just unfamiliar. Like the silence in the room has shifted. Like the way your name feels different when someone says it out loud. You go through the motions, make your bed, check your phone, get dressed, but none of it lands the way it used to. Everything feels slightly out of focus, like your life is running a few seconds ahead of you, and you're trying to catch up to a version of yourself that no longer waits. You try to shake it off. Tell yourself it's just a phase, just a bad night's sleep, just stress, but deep down you know it's more than that. Something inside you is slipping, slowly, quietly, like sand through your fingers. And the strangest part, you don't know if you want to stop it. You start to question things you never thought to question. The way you talk, the things you say yes to, the way you move through the world. And you begin to wonder, if none of it feels like you anymore, then who were you all this time? And who exactly are you becoming? We're conditioned to believe that knowing who you are is a sign of strength, that having a solid identity, clear, consistent, recognizable, is what keeps you grounded. So when that identity begins to blur, when the lines start dissolving, and you no longer feel like yourself, the world sees it as a warning sign, a breakdown, a crisis. But what if it's not? What if the moment you stop recognizing yourself is the first real moment you begin to meet who you truly are? You've spent years becoming someone, piece by piece, shaped by approval, by expectations, by survival. You became the one who always had it together, the one who made people proud, the one who knew the script and played the part. But maybe that version of you, so sure, so composed, was never you. Maybe it was a well-practiced role performed under pressure, built from everything the world demanded, but nothing your soul asked for. So now, when the old self starts to slip, you panic. You call it being lost. You try to fix it, to get back to who you were. But maybe you're not meant to go back. Maybe the discomfort is not a sign of something breaking, but something cracking open. Maybe not feeling like yourself is the clearest sign that you've outgrown who you were never meant to stay. There's a moment in every transformation where the world grows quiet. Not because everything is calm, but because everything familiar has fallen away. It feels like standing at the edge of a shoreline where your old life used to live. The tides have erased the footprints, the map you followed no longer makes sense, and though you haven't moved, everything inside you has. This is not a crisis. It's the cocoon. You are not lost. You are dissolving. See, the caterpillar never becomes the butterfly by climbing higher or pushing harder. It becomes by breaking down, completely. Within the cocoon, it turns to formlessness. There is no structure, no self, no direction, only stillness, only surrender. That's where you are. And yet the world tells you to fight it, to define yourself, to label this feeling as anxiety, burnout, confusion, anything that can be measured and explained. But the truth is far more tender. You are not malfunctioning, you are being remade. Think about the last time you outgrew something. Shoes, clothes, friendships. It wasn't sudden, it was subtle, quiet. A slow realization that what once held you now holds you back. And in that awareness, something inside begins to stretch, to question, to rise. Maybe that's what's happening now. You no longer laugh at things that once amused you. The goals you chased no longer stir your spirit. You walk into rooms that once made you feel seen, and now you feel invisible, or worse, misunderstood. But maybe invisibility is part of it. Maybe you are becoming visible only to yourself, and that is sacred. You don't need to rush to figure it out. You don't need to force a new identity just because the old one no longer fits.
You can rest in the unraveling. You can honor the space between what was and what will be. Because in this void, there is wisdom. In this quiet, there is clarity, just not the kind you've been taught to expect. It's not a lightning bolt. It's not a breakthrough. It's a slow awakening, a remembering of the self that was buried beneath obligation, of the voice that was silenced by shoulds, of the soul that waited for you to pause long enough to feel it breathing. You are not broken. You are blooming inward. You are not behind. You are deep in becoming. And no one needs to understand this phase but you. It's not meant to look beautiful. It's meant to be honest. So let it be messy. Let it be uncertain. Let it be unnamed. Because the most authentic parts of you aren't things you discover. They are things you return to. Slowly, softly, without trying. And if you feel like you're drifting from who you were, maybe that's not the problem. Maybe that's the point. Maybe you don't need to rush to redefine yourself. Maybe the space you're in, the confusion, the stillness, the ache, it isn't a delay, it's a doorway, a pause with purpose, a necessary clearing before something new begins to root. It's easy to think you're falling apart when the noise fades and your calendar empties, when the things that used to matter suddenly feel weightless in your hands. But what if this emptiness isn't a failure? What if it's fertile ground? Not everything that grows is loud. Some of the most profound transformations happen in silence. A seed buried in the earth doesn't scream its way into a tree. It waits. It stretches in the dark. It becomes, without anyone watching. That's where you are. You are not being punished for losing your way. You are being invited to lose the version of you that was built for survival, not for joy. This isn't the time to rebuild your old self stronger. It's the time to listen for what's quietly trying to emerge. A softer you, a truer you. Not the one who checks all the boxes, but the one who knows how to breathe without earning it. Not the one who fills every silence with answers, but the one who's finally learning to rest in not knowing. You are allowed to feel unsure. You are allowed to grieve a version of you that was never truly you. You are allowed to take your time, because something beautiful is unfolding beneath the surface. Not louder, not faster, but deeper. And though it may not yet have a name, it's already taking shape. You're not regressing. You're returning. Not to who you were, but to who you've always quietly been. Let this be the season where you stop searching for who you were and start listening for who you're becoming. No need to fix, no need to rush, no need to name this part of your story before it's ready. You're allowed to be unfinished. You're allowed to not make sense, especially to the world that only values clarity and certainty. You are not here to be easily understood. You are here to be deeply real. And sometimes being real means being undone. So rest in the unraveling. Honor the silence. Let the pieces fall where they may. Because underneath everything you thought you had to be, there is someone who has been waiting patiently. Not perfect, not polished, not loud, just honest, just whole. You don't feel like yourself anymore, and maybe that's the clearest sign that you're finally close. Close to the version of you that doesn't perform, doesn't pretend, just is. Say it gently now, like a breath. I'm not lost. I'm returning.